The sky above Earth wasn't blue anymore. It burned crimson as the alien warships tore through the clouds like gods descending to judge humanity. Cities fell silent. Satellites went dark. Every screen across the planet flickered with the same image. The alien queen. Tall. Silver-skinned. Eyes glowing like twin suns. Her voice didn't just speak, it pressed against the bones. Humanity, she declared, calm and merciless, your species has reached its end. No mercy. No survivors. Across the world, fear spread like wildfire. In a small underground military command center, soldiers stood frozen. Scientists stared at projections showing impossible power levels. Presidents and generals whispered desperate options. And in the middle of that chaos, one human laughed. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. Just a quiet, steady chuckle. Everyone turned. His name was Armin Malik. No medals. No rank of legend. Just an engineer turned strategist after the invasion began. Dark circles under his eyes. Hands stained with grease and coffee. Are you insane? A general hissed. Armin looked up at the giant holographic image of the queen floating above the room. She thinks we'll beg, he said softly. On the screen, the queen's gaze shifted, almost as if she could hear him. Armin stepped forward, activating the global transmission override. Somehow, against all logic, the alien signal linked directly to him. The queen studied his small, fragile form. You laugh at extinction? She asked. Armin smiled wider. No, he replied calmly. I'm laughing because you have no idea who you just threatened. And for the first time since the ships arrived. The queen narrowed her eyes. Silence filled the command center. The alien queen's massive holographic form leaned closer, her glowing eyes scanning Armin as if he were an insect daring to stand before a storm. You are fragile, she said coldly. Your weapons are primitive. Your world is divided. You are already defeated. Armin didn't stop smiling. Yeah, he nodded slightly. We fight each other. We argue. We make mistakes. Big ones. The generals behind him looked confused. Why was he agreeing? But, Armin continued, his voice steady now, you studied our technology. Our military strength. Our cities. You never studied us. The queen's expression didn't change, but her silence did. Armin walked toward the central console and pulled up archived footage. Human history. Wars. Disasters. Earthquakes. Pandemics. Burning cities. We survive things that should wipe us out, he said. Not because we're the strongest. Not because we're united. He looked directly into her glowing eyes. We survive because when everything is lost, we refuse to quit. Around the world, people were watching now. The alien transmission had accidentally become a global broadcast. Families hiding in basements. Soldiers in trenches. Children clutching their parents. The queen tilted her head slightly. Defiance is irrelevant. My fleet outnumbers your defenses 1,000 to 1. Armin's fingers hovered over a concealed activation key. You're right, he said quietly. If this was a fair fight, we'd lose. The general stiffened. The queen's lips curved faintly. Then surrender. Armin's laughter returned, louder this time. Who said anything about a fair fight? He pressed the key. And deep beneath Earth's oceans, something ancient began to wake up. Across the oceans, seismic alarms screamed. The alien fleet paused as energy readings spiked from beneath Earth's crust. Not from cities. Not from missile silos. From the abyss. The queen's eyes narrowed as her warships recalculated. Explain, she demanded. In the command center, lights flickered as power rerouted worldwide. Armin stood still, watching the holographic projections rise from the ocean floor. "You said we're divided," he said calmly. "You're right." Massive metallic structures detached from the seabed, shaking off decades of sediment. Hidden facilities the world's governments had secretly built after detecting alien signals years ago. "We don't trust each other," Armin continued. "So we built something we were all afraid of." The Queen's fleet targeted the rising signatures. Energy shields ignited across the oceans like glowing blue continents. "Impossible," one alien commander whispered in her language. Armin finally turned serious. "You see, humans don't unite for peace very well." The first structure breached the surface, not a ship, not a city. A planetary defense core. Orbital cannons unfolded from underwater platforms. Satellites long believed to be dead came back online. Millions of automated drones launched into the sky like a swarm of metallic birds. "But threaten our extinction?" Armin's voice hardened. "That's the one thing that makes us cooperate instantly." The Queen straightened. Her ships fired first. Blinding beams struck the oceans. The shields held. Then Earth answered. A concentrated beam shot from orbit, slicing clean through one of the alien warships. It exploded in silent vacuum fire. For the first time, the alien fleet shifted backward. The Queen's expression changed, not fear. Calculation. "You hid this," she said slowly. Armin nodded. "We hide our best weapons from each other," he replied. "You never stood a chance." And high above Earth, the battle truly began. The sky became a battlefield of light. Alien warships unleashed waves of energy that split the clouds apart. Human orbital cannons answered with precise, devastating strikes. Explosions shimmered silently in space, fragments of burning metal falling like artificial meteors. Inside the command center, alarms screamed non-stop. "We're holding, but barely," a technician shouted. Armin watched casualty projections rise. Coastal cities were evacuating. Power grids were failing under the strain of planetary shields. The Queen reappeared on every screen, her image steady despite the chaos behind her. "You surprise me, human," she said, voice colder than before. But surprise does not equal victory. Behind her, 3 massive capital ships moved forward, larger than anything seen so far. Their energy signatures dwarfed the others. Armin's smile faded slightly. He knew about those. Deep space scans had warned of a final strike formation. Humanity's defense system could repel an invasion fleet. But not sustain a siege. "You're draining your planet," the Queen observed. "Your oceans boil beneath those shields. Your atmosphere destabilizes. How long can you protect what you are destroying?" Armin hesitated. She wasn't entirely wrong. The planetary defense core was never meant for prolonged combat. It was a last-stand device. A deterrent. Not a war engine. The Queen leaned closer to the transmission. "Kneel," she ordered. "And I will spare fragments of your species." The room fell silent. Around the world, people watched, hearts pounding. Armin closed his eyes for just a second. When he opened them again, the laughter was gone. In its place was something deeper. Resolve. "You still don't understand us," he said quietly. Then he gave a new command. Phase 2. And this time, it wasn't about weapons. Phase 2 initiated. The words echoed through every defense network on Earth. The cannons didn't fire. The shields didn't expand. Instead, they shut down. Gasps filled the command center. "Sir," shields collapsing. Across the oceans, the glowing barriers faded. Alien sensors recalculated instantly. The Queen's fleet powered weapons for a decisive strike. The Queen's expression sharpened. "You surrender?" Armin shook his head. "No," he said calmly. We adapt. Thousands of human satellites shifted orbit simultaneously. Not into attack positions. Into formation. Civilian communication arrays. Private company launch platforms. Old research stations. Even decommissioned space junk, everything activated. The Queen watched as a strange signal spread across space. What is this transmission? Armin looked up at her towering image. You studied our weapons, he said. But you never studied our curiosity. The signal wasn't aimed at the alien fleet. It went beyond them. Deep into space. A mathematical pattern. A universal distress code. Humanity had spent decades listening for life. Quietly mapping cosmic anomalies. Tracking ancient gravitational signatures. We're not the first species you conquered, Armin said softly. Your energy signatures match ruins we found near Proxima Centauri. For the first time, the Queen's composure cracked. You know nothing. Armin pressed another command. Human archives flooded the transmission, alien ship movements, shield frequencies, tactical weaknesses. Broadcast to the stars. We can't beat you in a long war, he admitted. But we can make sure every other civilization knows exactly how to beat you. The alien fleet hesitated. Retreat vectors flickered across their formations. You would risk drawing more predators, the Queen asked. Armin's eyes were steady. We already have one. And for the first time since her arrival. The Queen looked uncertain. Space fell into a strange, heavy silence. The alien fleet no longer advanced. They no longer fired. They calculated. The Queen's towering image flickered, her glowing eyes locked onto Armin as if trying to measure something she had never encountered before. You gamble your extinction on hope, she said slowly. Armin shook his head. Not hope, he replied. Reputation. The deep space transmission continued pulsing outward, relentless, undeniable. Coordinates. Tactical data. Proof of aggression. Proof of conquest. Humanity wasn't calling for help. They were exposing a predator. Across the alien fleet, energy levels shifted. Defensive formations replaced attack patterns. Long-range scanners pivoted outward, searching the darkness they once ruled confidently. You would turn the galaxy against us, the Queen said. Armin finally stopped smiling. You declared no mercy, he answered quietly. We're just making sure no one ever forgets that. Seconds passed. Then a minute. Then 2. On human radar screens, something changed. One alien capital ship powered down its main weapon. Then another. Retreat coordinates flashed across every display. The Queen stared at Armin one last time. You are fragile, she said softly. Chaotic. Divided. A pause. But dangerous. Her image began to dissolve. This is not the end, human. Armin crossed his arms. It never is. The warships turned, slipping back into the crimson sky, vanishing into folds of space. Around the world, people waited, unsure. Then the skies cleared. Blue returned. Inside the command center, silence broke into exhausted laughter, tears, disbelief. Armin finally leaned back in his chair, staring at the empty screen. He hadn't defeated a superior empire. He had done something far more human. He had made them think twice. And sometimes. That's enough.